Hey guys, it's Jess and welcome to my channel, Jess Be You. What I'm wanting to do is start a series all on self-care. I feel like self-care is the word that a lot of girls are using. It's either I'm getting my nails done, I'm getting my hair done, I'm taking care of all of the outside. But on this series, what I want to focus more so than the outside is the inside, because if we don't feel good, if what's coming out of us isn't good, if we're just not our best self, then the outside's not really going to matter. So in this series, I'm going to be focusing on self-care, but the first topic is going to be self-awareness. And I'm just going to share a few tips, a few ways that we can all be self-aware. Self-awareness is knowing who am I and why do I do the things that I do? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And then not just knowing who am I, but once I know who I am, how can I make accommodation so that I am a better me? How can I make accommodation so that I am the best version of myself? Self-awareness can be really tricky sometimes because we can think that we're self-aware. Like I can think right now that I know who I am, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, but in reality, I know what I think I know, but someone else might see something that I'm not aware of. So that's the thing about self-awareness. Sometimes we are aware of these things, and sometimes there's things that are blind spots to us that we don't even know of. So tip number one, the first way to become more self-aware is to listen to the people that are connected to you. And I'm not talking about any and everyone, but I am talking about the people in your life that have earned the right to speak into your life. Because a lot of times, criticism can be hard to receive. Someone can come to you that you're close to and be like, Jessica, for example, I'll just use myself. Something that my mom says. She's like, Jessica, why are you always doubting? Why are you always doubting yourself? And I'm like, no, I'm not. In my head, I'm thinking, what is she talking about? I'm not. But that's criticism, and it's criticism from my mom. And your mom is someone that you should trust. At least my mom is someone that I trust. My mom is someone that I know would want the best for me. So yeah, I may have got defensive and been like, that's not me. But at the end of the day, I have to go and question myself. Am I really always defensive? And why? Why am I doubting myself? And that could have been a blind spot to me. And another thing with that point is that not only criticism, but sometimes it can be encouragement. Someone could come to me and be like, you're a really great public speaker. And then I'm like, no. I may not say it to them, but I'm like, no, that's not me. I'm really not that great at public speaking. It's not even something that I really even like to do, for example. And maybe it's something that I'm not wanting to receive because it's just not something that I really want to do, but someone pointed this out about me, and maybe it's something that I'm actually good at. And so sometimes we can get self-awareness from not only criticism, but encouragement, because someone is finding something in us that we didn't even really know was there. Tip number two is to have some alone time. How will we know ourselves if we are never just by ourselves? How will you know yourself if you never even get the time to know yourself? And sometimes that may be crazy, it could sound crazy, girl, how do you not know yourself? You're with yourself every day. But the truth of the matter is there are people on earth right now walking day to day, and they really don't know who they are. Who do I like? Who do I want to hang around with? Who do I not want to hang around with? Who do I not want to be affiliated or connected with? And this is so important because if I'm all over the place and I don't have standards for myself and I don't really know who I am, it can be easy for this person to grab me or that person to grab me, and then I'm not myself. I'm who they want me to be, or this person wants me to be. So we have to have alone time so that we can know who we are, and from knowing who we are, then we can stand alone and also stand alone in a crowd. And what I mean by standing alone in the crowd is I'm still Jessica. I can be with a group of friends, but I'm still Jessica, because at the end of the day, Jessica knows who she is, and the group doesn't make Jessica. Jessica makes Jessica. Have you ever just been home and you're like, oh my gosh, it's too quiet. I need to turn the TV on, or I need to play some music, or I need to call someone, I need to call somebody over, because I just cannot be alone right now. I just don't like being alone. Has that ever been you? Because I know there have been times where I'm just like, okay, this is too quiet. Let me turn on the TV, because it's just too quiet. I've had those moments, but it's so important that sometimes we really just need to take those moments and just be like, this is me time. I don't need anyone. I don't need the TV on. I just can chill, because these moments are so important. And that's when like self-reflection can come in, which is another tip. Self-reflection is another great way to be self-aware. And I guess we can call that tip number 3, or we can call it tip number 2.1. Anyway, but yeah, self-reflection is so important. Like sometimes we can go into like relationships, or something bad happens in a day, in our day, you know, anything that we come across that happens day to day, and we get into situations that just don't turn out too well. And sometimes it's so easy to blame the other person. It's so easy to be like, well, they did this or they did that, which is easy. And maybe they were guilty, maybe they did do something, but it's like, but we had to play some part in it. And that's where self-reflection comes in. What happened, and what part did I play in it, and what can I do next time so that this can turn out differently? What can I do next time so that this was better? So tip number 3 again is to self-reflect. And my last tip number 4, I don't know, when I said tip number 4, I thought of like the fourth quarter of football. Whatever. I used to cheer, guys. Okay, but that's besides the point. So yeah, the last tip is to journal. I know journaling, like, okay, I've been journaling for years and I love it so much from the bottom of my heart. I got journaling from my mom and I'm so happy that I did, because it's so amazing, and I would recommend it to any and everybody. And journaling is not like keeping a diary. It's not like I have to write everything that I did day to day, just so that I can go back and read what I did yesterday. Like I'll write in my journal. Today I read, what's the name? Today I read 2 chapters of no, that is not what a journal is for. That's kind of more like a diary. I mean, of course you can write what you did that day, but at the end of the day, like journaling has so much more value than I did this or I did that today. It goes so much deeper. Able to look back and be like, wow, this happened, and today I wrote this, and I have grown tremendously. Like I learned this lesson, and God did this then, and look where I am now, and He really was faithful then and there. That is what journaling, I think, is all about. Even like those down moments that you write in your journal, and you can like feel the pain that you had, or you can feel the happiness that you had when you were writing it. It is so amazing to read it in the future and be like, wow, I was so happy then, or I was so low then, but look where I am now, and look what has transpired, and or this and that. So, and it's another way to self-reflect. And as you journal, and the longer that it goes on, and the more that you're able to read and read, you will notice how much you've grown. You will notice, I don't know, guys, it is just so refreshing, and I recommend journaling to any and everybody, and I can say that 1,000 times, literally. Journaling is so great, and it's so good for the mind, and it will make you so self-aware. So yeah, those are my tips for how you can become more self-aware. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This was the first video of the self-care series, so I'm not going to tell you what the next topic is going to be, but you have to stay tuned to see it. And yeah, I thank you guys for tuning in, and always remember that your confidence will determine your success, and one way to be successful is to be self-aware. But most importantly, always remember to just be you, and I will see you guys next time. I learned to love myself unconditionally because I am a queen.